Good morning and welcome to another edition of Our Town here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swenson. Our Town, as always, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. We have a four-guest program this morning. We'll have our monthly check-in with Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken. We'll talk to Brian Huinker with Group Benefit Partners in Decorah. A week from today is the deadline to get covered health insurance wide on the state health insurance exchange for 2023. We'll give the latest from Brian on all that information. Coming up this weekend, the Chorale will have their annual Home for Christmas benefit concert. We'll preview that with Jason Rausch, the director of the Chorale. But coming up today, and we're involved in this one, and we're always proud to be involved in this one. It is our annual food drive for the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Bank. You can drop off a monetary tax-deductible donation to the KVIK studios in Decorah. You can also drop off food at that location until 6 p.m. tonight. And we will discuss the needs and what the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Bank provides folks, and that will come with Karlie Schmelzer from the food bank. Karlie is joining us right now, and she will kick off the Our Town program this morning. It's brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust, and you're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Having a conversation this morning with Karlie Schmelzer with Northeast Iowa Community Actions Food Bank, a drive coming up on a Thursday where we and our listeners are going to try to help out the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Bank. First of all, Karlie, tell us about your organization and what services you guys provide to those in need in our area.
Absolutely. So Northeast Iowa Community Action Corporation provides support and resources to improve stability and quality of life for individuals and families with limited resources. We serve those residing in Almaquis, Bremer, Chickasaw, Clayton, Fayette, Howard, and Winneshiek counties. So through our programs and services, we really offer a variety of things from all stages of life, Head Start, early Head Start, home visiting programs, crisis assistance, LIHEAP, which is also known as fuel assistance to a lot of people, weatherization services. We operate rural public transit in our region as well. And then we operate 5 food pantries across our service area. So we have 3 larger pantries, one of those being our pantry here in Decorah in Winneshiek County, and then we have 2 smaller scale pantries in our 7-county service area as well.
And related to your food pantries, how much need is there for services like those in this area? And have you seen the need increase a little bit recently with the dollar not going as far as it used to go?
Yeah, that is for certain. Across our 5 pantries, we, since January of 2022, has served an unduplicated 647 households. Those households received over 200,000 pounds of items from our pantry. So we provide food items, we provide baby care products, personal care products, cleaning supplies, so a variety of items out of our pantries, but over 200,000 pounds of items have been dispersed since the beginning of this year. So the need has definitely been seen and evident, and I think, we're all feeling about, especially those with limited resources that are living in our service area. We've seen people that we haven't seen for many years. We've seen new families and households that we've never served before. So the need it's tremendous right now.
And I think it's an important thing to make the distinction when talking about services, especially related to food pantries that you provide. What is the difference between a food pantry and a grocery store?
So because we have partnerships with the Northeast Iowa Food Bank, that significantly leverages our ability to purchase items at an affordable price and then, provide them at no cost to food insecure individuals and families in the service area. So we're partnered with the Northeast Iowa Food Bank, so we can buy items from them when they're available at a much reduced cost in comparison to, say, a local church going to the grocery store and purchasing food to then, pass on themselves to people in need. So the value of $1 is really stretched a lot further when dollars are donated to organizations that are partnered with the Northeast Iowa Food Bank.
And coming up on Thursday, we are going to try to raise as much money as we can for your organization. And if folks don't have time Thursday or can't connect with us on Thursday, how can they make donations to make sure that those in need get helped out a little bit more, especially in this holiday season?
Yeah, so our P.O. Box here at our main office in Decorah is P.O. Box 487. So we are always accepting monetary donations. Checks can come by mail to that P.O. Box. Donations can be dropped off directly at our office here in Decorah. We also have an online giving portal on our website. So if you go to www.neicac.org, visit our donate page, you'll get to see a story about a family that we've served and really kind of make the connection to all of the programs and services we offer and how they impact those in the community. And you can actually donate directly on our website there as well. So a variety of ways to support our organization and individuals and families in need in Northeast Iowa.
And where is your Decorah location? Where is that at for those that are unfamiliar?
Yeah, so our office here in Decorah is at 305 Montgomery Street. So I guess a lot of people know it as the old hospital building. We're right across from the fairgrounds racetrack here in Decorah, and that is where this is our corporate office, and that is where our Winneshiek County Family Service Outreach Office and Food Pantry in Winneshiek County are located.
Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on to folks about the services that you provide and ways they can help out those in need this holiday season?
No, I just really want to thank you and everyone who supports us, those who provide donations. We could not do what we do without partners in our local communities. The federal, local, the grant funding that we receive, it's not enough to meet the needs that we see. And so just really thank you, and we're very appreciative of all the support that we receive and look forward to partnerships in the future.
Karlie, we appreciate your time. We thank you for all you do for the folks and all Northeast Iowa Community Action does for the folks in our area. And a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and yours.
Thank you. You too.
Karlie Schmelzer from Northeast Iowa Community Action joining us this morning. Coming up this Saturday night is the Decorah Chorale's annual Home for Christmas concert, and the director of the Decorah Chorale, Jason Rausch, joining us. And Jason, this has been a time-honored tradition in the Decorah area. I know you had to pause it a couple of times for COVID over the last couple of years, but back and ready for more this year. How many years has this tradition been going now?
Well, I believe this is our 22nd annual Home for Christmas concert, where we our free will offering benefits the Winneshiek County Habitat for Humanity.
Tell us about the performance coming up this Saturday night.
Yeah, well, we're back to having our concert at Decorah Lutheran Church, back to normal, as so we say, and we have a whole bunch of Christmas music, traditional carols, pieces that people would know. Come, O Come Emmanuel, People Look East, Go Tell It on the Mountain, Joy to the World. And interesting about our Joy to the World is we have several instrumentalists that are joining us. It's an arrangement of Joy to the World, probably like people haven't heard before. It's kind of in a Irish style. So we have an accordion playing with us. We have a piccolo, a fiddle, a bodhran drum that Nick Herka is playing. Bass, guitar, it's really, and two piano players. So it's a cool arrangement. I think people will really enjoy us closing the concert with that. It's not very often you get to hear an accordion with the Decorah Chorale. Maybe the first time, actually.
How'd you come up with that idea?
I spent a lot of time in the summer researching new music that's being put out by publishers, and I came across this arrangement. It's by an arranger that we've done several pieces by, Christmas songs that he's arranged. His name is Dan Forrest. So it's put out by one of the major publishers of choir music, and I was really intrigued by it, and I thought it would give a different spin to this famous Christmas carol, and it'd be a good way to end our concert.
And you never can go wrong with an accordion involved, if you ask me. How many folks overall are singing and performing in this event coming up on Saturday night?
Yeah, we have about 70 singers, and then about 8 instrumentalists that are joining us throughout the concert. And prior to the concert, the Decorah High School madrigal singers are going to sing carols from about 6:40 to 7 o'clock as prelude music, as they've done in years past. So people are going to get their fill of Christmas, like real Christmas carols, Christmas songs, and I think they'll walk out of there with some good holiday spirit and probably humming a few tunes too.
How long, how much effort, how long have you guys been getting ready for this performance come Saturday night?
Yeah, we started, I think, the week before Labor Day weekend. So back in August, we had our first rehearsal. We were also preparing for a concert that we did at Luther in October, but we've been going for several months now. We have our 2-hour rehearsals on Sunday nights, and our final rehearsal that we had the other night was really positive, and I'm really excited about the concert. I'm feeling very good about it. So hoping everything comes together as I think it is.
And how rewarding is it to take something that you all are very passionate about, singing and music in general, and in turn helping out such a great charity like Habitat for Humanity? How rewarding is it for all of that to come together?
Well, we are a community choir, and part of being in a community choir is supporting local organizations and local people. And like we said, this is a 22nd second concert that we've supported Habitat for Humanity, and we're over, I think, $40,000 that we've donated to them in the last 22 years. And then having raised $3,600 for the Decorah Community Food Pantry in October. It feels really good, to have that mission that not only do we come together to make music, to socialize, but that we also bring that outside of the choir rehearsal and choir concert and impact families in Northeast Iowa. It feels really good, and it's a strong mission that we have, and we're really, really proud of that, those positive connections to the community that we have.
Anything I want to add about the show? Anything else we're missing about the show coming up on Saturday night?
Yeah, just the concerts at Saturday night, December 10th, 7 p.m. at Decorah Lutheran Church. Come out and support our local musicians and enjoy an hour of Christmas music. I think you'd be glad you did.
And don't forget the high school madrigal singers singing beforehand. They're trained very well by yourself, as is the Decorah Chorale. And Jason, we appreciate you taking the time to talk about the show coming up this weekend, the 22nd annual Home for Christmas concert from the Decorah Chorale. Thanks for taking the time, and Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Merry Christmas to you.
Jason Rausch from the Decorah Chorale, Home for Christmas, Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Decorah Lutheran Church. All right. 1 week from today is the deadline to sign up for health insurance on the state exchange here in the state of Iowa. And when we have health insurance questions, we bring in our friend, our mentor, our compadre, and our favorite insurance guy, Mr. Brian Huinker. How you doing there, Hank? Keeping your sanity?
We are hanging in there, Swens. 1 week to go. That's a good thing.
Tell us, give us the general update on how many people you're getting signed up and what people are finding once they do sign up with plans as they get ready for 2023.
Yeah, great question, Darren. So it's been a very interesting year. The rates went up slightly due to the tax credit subsidy amounts going down some. One of the companies, Medica, the rate shot up quite a bit. So we've had fair amount of folks that have switched from Medica to Wellmark to save themselves a couple $100 a month. But the biggest difference by far, and I would call this really in the health insurance individual market, this is the biggest thing since the passing of the Affordable Care Act, is that now spouses are able to get a tax credit / subsidy if their husband or wife's plan is not affordable through work. So, if oftentimes the employer will pay 90%, 100% of a single policy, but then if you want to add your spouse or kids, you have to pay that difference. And that the way that it was before, because they were offered, they couldn't get a tax credit. Now, based on how much that costs, they can. So we've had a huge influx of people that are 2022, they're paying $800 a month for family insurance, and in 2023, it's going to be $50. That's a big deal.
No doubt about it. What's defined as affordable?
Great question. So it's a little wordy, and that's we're spending a lot of time on it. It's defined by the least expensive family plan available through you at work. And then we punch it into a calculator, and your adjusted gross income, it can't be more than 9.12% of your adjusted gross income. So there's some work to be done to get to that level. My fear is, quite honestly, we've talked in the past about encouraging folks to use a local agent, whether it's us or somebody else, but you have to enter all this info online when you're registering as a spouse. And I don't know how the layperson could do it. And I could see a lot of mistakes being happen, and then people getting punished when they do their taxes at the end of 23.
And is it one of those things where even people like yourselves that deal with this on a day-to-day basis, are you guys just having to mentally keep yourself up in tune with everything that's going on, knowing the fact that 1 decimal point here, 1 decimal point there can make a big difference?
Definitely. And, we're kind of a leader in the individual market. So some of that knowledge via Nikki and Peggy has spilled into our ability to help the group, like the true group clients. And so it's a really big deal. We're giving advice, in some cases, the adjusted gross income is 75,000. That's the limit. If you make below that, you get a subsidy. If you make above that, you don't. And somebody will call and say, last year my income was 72,500. And our advice is a big red stop sign. Yes, you're below the limit, but you're so close. If you go over, you're going to have to pay back all your tax credit. So, how a person figures that out, signing up on their own, I don't know. That's a worry. That's a worry for me. And then, just to make sure that they know, their accountant knows, if they're self-employed, there's a lot of moving parts.
And you mentioned Medica and Wellmark are the main 2 companies that people are signing up with. Does Medica and Wellmark allow them to use all the local healthcare providers?
Both companies have every hospital in Iowa. Really, the main difference is Medica has access to Gunderson La Crosse health system. So that's a big deal for some. Although I would say this year, with that price differential, a lot of folks are saying, well, I like the thought of having that, in my, nearby, but I haven't been there in 2 years. I guess I'd rather save $200, $300, $400 a month, and I can get my services done locally. And if it's something Wynn Medical Center can't do it, or our area hospitals, you kind of move south to Waterloo, Cedar Valley, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City.
And we have a week left to sign up for coverage on the health insurance exchange after next Thursday, the 15th. What can people do then? What should people do then besides sign up by that point?
Well, great question, Swenson. You leave it to you, the god darn detective questionnaire. Technically, so don't tell anybody this. Listeners, don't tell anybody, but technically it's open until the end of January. Biden extended open enrollment.
Okay.
So we're really pushing the 15th deadline, because that will allow your coverage to start January 1st, which is when deductibles and things reset. So there's a big reason to push for December 15th. But if something slipped through the cracks, or maybe you auto renewed, that's one of the reasons we're really happy with the extension, is that some folks that don't call us will, automatically renew on a Medica plan and then see their first bill is $250 higher, call us January 5th and say, what can I do? Last year, we couldn't do anything because it was past the deadline. This year in January, we can move them to a well-marked plan or change plans. So that's a positive for the consumer. Not as big a positive for me and my staff, just for time, but it is a good thing.
When it comes to auto renew, what are the advantages to that? What are the disadvantages to that? I suppose one of them was something you just mentioned.
Yeah. The prices fluctuate yearly, as do the tax credits. So, a lot of our clients call in. We essentially verify that they haven't had a major change in income, update their app, and update the tax credit. Our biggest thing is to not have any surprises when they do their tax return. We prefer that they, don't have to pay a bunch of money back, because last year they had on the app $40,000, and this year they got a great promotion and a raise and they make $50,000. They could have to pay back, $1,400 when they do their taxes. Now, at the end of the day, you either pay it on the front end or pay it on the back end. So it's not really a penalty. It's just kind of surprise that we try to avoid if we can through education.
Anything we're missing? Anything else folks need to know between now and next Thursday?
I don't think so. I mean, we appreciate everybody, being patient. It's a busy time for everybody in this industry, and we're kind of under the gun trying to get to everybody we can. So every year's different.
I'm assuming that you, Nikki, and Peggy will accept coffee between now and next Thursday from any constituent that stops by.
Only before lunch, after lunch, and after dinner.
All right. Brian, we appreciate you taking the time to update us on what's going on with health insurance in our world. And if we don't talk to you by then, Merry Christmas to you, Amanda, and the kids, and enjoy this time of craziness for you, both professionally, but also personally, because Christmas is a cool time of year.
Absolutely. Thanks, Wentz.
Brian Huinker with Group Benefit Partners in Decorah. The health insurance deadline next Thursday. Time now for our December conversation with Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken, getting the ins and outs of all that is happening in the city of Decorah. And at last night's council meeting, Travis, a lot of the discussion focused on the goals that you set as a council earlier this year and how you're doing on those goals. How are you doing?
Yeah, Darren, I feel pretty good about what we've been able to achieve this past year. Like you talked about, that was a vast majority of last night's council meeting, talking about that goal setting session, those goals that we had set for ourselves for calendar 22 and 23, and just going through and evaluating what the council believes we have achieved, what still needs progress, if anything had fallen off the radar, which nothing has. So there are a couple goals still yet to be achieved, and arguably some moving up the ranks, since we were able to achieve a couple of those goals. Some of those that we previously thought were medium priority have now moved up to high priority because we've checked off some of those high priorities.
What would you say the city's biggest accomplishment in 2022 has been, to be fair, to this point?
Mm-hmm. A number of things, and one that the community probably sees more as got to be our communications, our outreach with residents, trying to make sure information's available, updates provided, the addition of group cast, redo of the website, attempts to try and push more out through social media, just general conversations being out and available among the public. I think that's one that the public has seen more of. But I do think one of the more difficult that people don't necessarily realize would be the pay matrix. We took an existing cumbersome pay matrix and remodeled it into ranges that give a little bit of flexibility for new people coming on to the organization based on their experience and education, so that we're not so strapped with where people start, which had really been a struggle for bringing new staff on at the city level. Whenever you talk about people's salaries, wages, or even potential for those salaries, it can sometimes get difficult. And so getting that redone was a fairly large undertaking, actually.
And what are some of those priorities that maybe were in the medium category at the beginning of the year, now that can climb up a little bit to that high category?
Mm-hmm. One of those in the medium was the downtown assessment, or excuse me, working with our different partners on different goals and coordinating efforts that we might have. So prime example is downtown. The downtown assessment that was completed, I believe, just prior to my arrival here a little over a year ago, had a number of different ideas and a couple different projects that could come out of that. And we really haven't done a great job. Yes, we're working across organizations, but we haven't done a great job of saying, all right, together we are going to do this. And so that's something we want to emphasize quite a bit this next year, is working collaboratively with those other organizations to achieve very specific projects.
And is that easier said than done, to be fair?
It really is. Within our own organizations, the city, the hospital, school, chamber, Decorah jobs, we all have other aspects of our day jobs that otherwise keep us away from achieving those tasks that takes everyone coming together or multiple people coming together to achieve. So it's more difficult than if it was just Travis driving, or if it was just Steve driving, or Dr. Cronin. It's a lot easier if one person's able to achieve it, but when you're coordinating multiple organizations and schedules, adds an extra layer.
And when it comes to matters like this, in the big picture, is this the ultimate goal of sometimes when you get all these government entities or entities of any kind in general, sometimes when they talk about big picture goals, they kind of unintentionally compete against each other? Are you trying to make sure that it isn't a competition? It's looking out for the greater good of all parties involved?
Absolutely. It's a trap. It really is. And one of those, actually a prime example of where we were trying to avoid that, is the North Alley area planning effort, working with the school and Decorah Downtown Betterment, to make sure that we've got different goals within our own organization that we believe will better the community. And a number of those goals involve area right there. And obviously we can't achieve everything in that area. So let's maximize the benefit to all our taxpayers, to all our stakeholders, with what we can achieve in that area. So you're absolutely right. It's a trap. We need to make sure we avoid that. We're not competing with each other. That if it's, Travis needs to work towards helping the hospital achieve a goal, but the city of Decorah is not going to be the one to lead the charge or end up with, I'm not going to say glory, because there's not much glory to be shared. But if it's Travis helping behind the scenes, but ultimately it's a hospital project or a school project or Decorah jobs, that's fine. We have to put egos aside and just help out our community the best we can.
I know a lot of the discussion last night focused on the goal of getting fiber out to as many people as possible. Of course, it's a goal, I think, probably of every community in America. What goes into making it happen is a very cumbersome process. Where is the city at with that goal that was a high priority and remains a high priority of the council?
You're absolutely right, Darren. Was set as a high, remains a high, and did take a lot of that conversation within our goal setting discussion. One of our difficulties here, and I really want to emphasize, I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, but I will point out again, there is not a single city in the state of Iowa that has fiber to the premise, a municipal fiber without a municipal electric backing it. So Fort Dodge right now, Fort Dodge, Iowa, is heading that direction. But if they achieve it, they will be the first community in the state of Iowa to reach that goal. And they're a community of 25,000 people. So I'm pointing that out because this is not as easy as a task as some might think. And where we have made strides is we do have partners that are willing to participate from the ISP side, so that we're not responsible for actually providing internet service or cable TV through that fiber network. We've got partners on the install side, and we've really taken a close look at what Fort Dodge is doing to potentially become that first city in the state of Iowa to achieve this, and look at replicating that same thing here. And we've taken those steps to get us there. We just have not pulled the trigger because we want to make sure Fort Dodge got a little creative, and we want to make sure that nobody wants to be the last name on a case file that's presented at conferences of what you should not do. So that's what we're waiting for at this point.
And how much of it right now, especially related to fiber, is making sure that, yeah, you want to put all the pieces in place, you want to put all the planning in place and everything like that, but you don't want to spend millions of dollars on that and realize you can't get it done, right?
Exactly. And that's where we're sitting that in kind of a holding pattern where we don't want to run out, buy all the fiber, buy all the conduit, and come to find out that Fort Dodge sees a legal challenge of what in the path they're taking. And now that route is no longer viable. And now we've got all this fiber and conduit in our hands that we've spent $1 million on, and have to turn around and still figure out how we're going to design and competitively bid this, which is much more costly than the current route Fort Dodge is taking. And that's where we see Decorah able to achieve this without that municipal electric backing.
And a couple of things moving on from the goals, but connected to one of the goals that we just talked about, from what I understand, there's going to be a public presentation regarding the North Alley next week, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
You are correct. And thank you for bringing that up so I didn't have to later. Next week, Wednesday, December 14th, from 4 to 6 p.m. here in the City Council chambers, Bolton and Mink will be on site to present some concepts that they will be looking to present to the City Council and the school for what they believe, based on the public's feedback and the stakeholder feedback, we should consider for the North Alley area. So again, that's Wednesday, December 14th, from 4 to 6 p.m. here in the City Council chambers.
And after that meeting, what's the next step in the process?
Then Bolton and Mink should be providing a final report back to the City Council for ultimately approval, which the whole intentions of this is not to be a plan that's accepted and put on the shelf behind me. It will be broken out with a phased approach. You know, this Bolton and Mink believes this should be the first task taken on in the area, and subsequent actions. Hopefully we're able to follow through with those actions outlaid in the plan.
And what type of a time frame will that be on?
Oh, I'm sure the full scale is going to run, you know, this is a 10, 20-year plan. End date, not beginning. Beginning, very much this year, I would anticipate. But full implementation could take 10, 20 years.
I'll rephrase it, from the time of the meeting next week to the full report coming back to the council. What type of time
not
frame
10,
would that
20
be?
years.
And your previous answer was a good one too, because I was going to ask that one next, but we'll go in opposite order here.
Gotcha. No, I would really expect a pretty quick turnaround from that public open house to ultimately final report issued to the council and school. I'd say with honestly January, I should probably see something back from Bolton and Mink.
And from what I understand, the Municipal Electric Utility Task Force will be coming to the council later this month. Is that correct?
Yes. So they will be meeting Wednesday, December 7th. I believe that is 11 a.m. meet time. And then again, potentially December 14th at 11 a.m. To what they hope to wrap up and have kind of a final report recommendation back to the council at the December 19th meeting.
And where will the council go from there? What's the next step from that point?
Yep, and that was actually one of the goals that was outlined and discussed a bit last night. We'll be reshaping that goal. So once that comes in front of council, I believe many council members want to see some form of action taken on this. To we can't just keep leaving it out there. At some point in time, we've got to figure out what action council wants to take and move from there.
Is that conversation and the fiber conversation connected at all?
They're not really, Darren, because even if this conversation, let's say a municipalization effort moves forward, I think in reality, we're looking at quite some time before any municipalization effort occurs, just purely from potential legal challenges, the initial setup. I just think we're looking at some different timeframes.
Anything we're missing? Anything on your checklist that wasn't on mine?
Mm-hmm. Not that I can think of. I'm going to knock on wood, Darren, that last night's council meeting, we finally saw a little bit of reprieve of council agendas. I mean, I was able to do it one page double-sided, and as opposed to some of ours in recent history have been 3-4 pages long. So I think we were able to cover pretty much everything from last night today.
And the memory in my...
I just do want to do another quick shout out on the city's group cast. We talked about communication and things. Again, if you go to the city's website, decorahia.org, and click on our group cast event and news, you can sign up there to receive text messages and email alerts for various things. It's going to be really important with winter snow emergencies coming up.
We should probably give a reminder on snow emergency procedures. Again, I told you we'd talk about it this month. I skipped it last month. We got a little bit of snow, not too much, but I'm guessing we're going to be dealing with a little bit more this month.
Unfortunately, I think we will. Looks
just
like
speculation.
That's right. Well, and it doesn't look like Thursday is maybe going to bode too well, so we'll see. But yes, again, in the event of a snow emergency, alternate side parking will take effect. Odd days, odd side, even days, even side. In areas where signs are posted that no parking is allowed, if it doesn't state, unless in the event of a snow emergency, you're still not allowed to park there. So we're working on better signage to identify, because there are a few examples within town. And I should note, if you ever have any questions about where you as a resident should park in the event of a snow emergency, please call the street shop. They're more than happy to answer any questions you may have for your specific case. But please follow the posted signage. If it says no parking, that means no parking. If it says no parking unless snow emergency in effect, then you switch to the other side.
All right, Travis. By the way, on the council agenda, my the memory in my email inbox appreciated the agenda last night as compared to a couple of ones of the previous months, but you guys had a lot of work to do and a lot of decisions to make, so that's perfectly understandable. We appreciate you taking some time once again to tell us everything going on with the city of Decorah and its business. We won't talk to you before the end of the year, so a Merry Christmas to you and your family as well.
Yep. Merry Christmas to you, Darren. Thank you very much.
Travis Goedken, city manager of Decorah. A thank you to our guest on the program, Karlie Schmelzer from the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Pantry. Don't forget today until 6 p.m. We are raising funds for the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Pantry. Cash donations are being accepted along with non-perishable items at the KVIK and Hawk Rock Studios in downtown Decorah. Checks can be made out to the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Pantry, and all of those donations are tax deductible. And as Karlie touched on, for every dollar the Northeast Iowa Community Action Food Shelf receives, they have $3 to $5 in buying power at the food bank in Waterloo. So that is going on until 6 o'clock tonight as we try to help out those in need this holiday season. Speaking of the holiday season, we will be in the spirit tomorrow night at the Decorah Lutheran Church, the Decorah Chorale's Home for Christmas holiday benefit concert for Wenatchee County Habitat for Humanity. We thank Jason Rausch for joining us for that one. Brian Huinker from Group Benefit Partners. A week from today is the deadline to get signed up on the Health Insurance Exchange if you want to get covered by January 1st. Hink gave us the update on that, and we always appreciate Travis Goedken taking the time to tell us about what's going on in the city of Decorah. Don't forget, we put these shows on YouTube each and every week. We realize can't always be near a radio or a streaming device at the time of day that we air the show, which was every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. So we want to bring the show to you on your schedule because we feel we get to talk to pretty interesting people and talk about important things going on in our community. We will do that to you each and every week. If you're just out gallivanting around YouTube, go to 12-9 Our Town program. It's there, and we also put these up on our social media pages, the Facebook pages of all of our LA communication stations. So another way to we bring you the information you need here at LA Communications. Our thanks to our guest, our thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust, and most importantly, we thank you, that's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.